And we're back. Jack Posobiec, Blake Neff, Tyler Boyer, and we're just, this is sort of a reaction stream to the charges that have just been made public, as well as a slew of evidence, information, including text messages from this suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the man who sat in this chair to my right. And the big story, there's a lot to unpack, there's a lot to go through, there's a lot of emotions running high, not only around the country, but here in this very room, same room where we did the election night show in 24 and even 22, and same spot where Erica delivered her memorial speech. I would call it a memorial speech. It's right here. And God is clearly using all of this for a higher purpose, but the death penalty coming down. Incredibly important, necessary, needed. Absolutely needed because of the message that it sends. Tyler, the thing I was going to ask you, because we were just on another stream and then we took a little break to do a studio switch over, was that something I thought was so interesting was that the prosecutor's just so amazing. This is an old Utah style, Western justice, standing on what's right, law and order. I love this guy. No TV showboating, and every network, we've got the TV wall up here, every network is covering him. And, he clearly had a great team because they just went through chapter and verse, every single charge that was going on. But one that keeps sticking with me is one of the aggravating factors, one of the aggravating circumstances was the fact that children had to watch it.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't necessarily that they were threatened, even though they were, but that wasn't that wasn't the aggravating factor. The aggravating factor was actually the traumatic effect it had on the children who were present. And, I would even say, he didn't say it, but by extension, we know that so many children had to watch this video and the trauma that was done to them.
Yeah.
And I think it's very appropriate that in a case like that, the crime that was done to those children and the crime that was done to Charlie's children, who, look, it's just the nature of it. We know one day they will probably see this video. It's just reality. I hope that's not for a very, very, very long time. And I hope it's by their choice and not, if they so choose, and not, thrust upon them in any way. But it's their choice, obviously, and they're right. That is a crime. That is a crime in and of itself, the robbing of innocence and the robbing of childhood. And I think it's so right. I think it's so right that is an aggravating factor.
Well, and yeah, and again, for the audience, just for everybody at home, and again, we don't have to thank goodness we don't have to deal with murder on a day-to-day basis, but the difference in classification between a normal murder versus aggravated murder, just so that is the severity of it, is the intensity of it, right? Yeah. So in this case, the prosecutor seeking out aggravated murder, you could hear them every time going through, as they're describing it, the presence of children, the presence of minors, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So over and over,
which of course is written into the code, into the legal code of Utah as a factor which makes which puts the death penalty on the table.
Increases the severity,
right,
which also makes it easier to seek the death penalty.
Right, and it's also going to be something that whatever the defense team is, I don't know if that's completely shaken out yet. We should probably check that out because I believe his arraignment is coming up.
We're going to get to know the defense team very, very well.
Right, and the fact that I'll ask you another question in a second, but the fact that these are going to be things that they are going to try to fight against in the pretrial period, to try to chip away at And if they can chip away at them, then that could potentially close the door to the death penalty. So you're seeing strategy here, is what I'm trying to say.
And America has to stand up and support the prosecutors so vociferously right now, because the reality is that Charlie Kirk was probably the best known personality because of his presence on TikTok with people under the age of 18.
Well, the prosecutor said that.
And
he said it.
And I think that's the reason why he said it, right? Was he's laying out already the case, which is like, don't even try to knock this off, because it's not going to get knocked off, because literally millions, we can bring in millions of Americans who can testify here that they're aware of Charlie Kirk, that they know Charlie Kirk, that they have more interaction with Charlie Kirk than maybe some of their own family members because of their access to TikTok and social media.
And it was a crime against those people in addition to being a crime against Charlie.
And they can march in all day long, the hundreds and hundreds of young people who were present at that event that day. I mean, we knew them.
And I'm sure they will be at the...
I had friends
And
that
by
had
the
kids.
way, I'm going to address this right now. I'm sure there will be people who show up to the courthouse. Let the system work.
Yeah.
Let the people do their jobs. I'm angry about it. You know how close we all are to this. I want the system to work here. And so, if you're in a situation where you come in contact with the suspect or jurors, witnesses, defense counsel, look, Charlie was all about free speech, and part of that is due process.
Yeah.
Due
all
process
about free
goes
speech,
hand in
due
hand.
process,
hand
the
in
legal
hand.
system, like
Hand in hand.
Let it work.
Yeah.
But going back to the conversation that we're having here, which is that there were so many young people impacted by this that were there, not just in general, that we're seeing, kind of the impact that's across America. That's 1 or 2 steps away from Utah. We're talking about in the Utah community. I had all day long, Jack, people calling me, texting me. They're bringing their entire family. They're bringing their kids. They had canceled events. They had not gone to soccer, practices and soccer practices and whatever, right? Like they had rearranged their entire lives to be there that day with their family, with their kids. I mean, heck, Jason Chaffetz, Fox contributor, former congressman, people are talking about he was thinking about running for office again in Utah. He had his kids there. I mean, and he was right there. So, I mean, you have so many people that were there that were impacted by this. Any kind of trying to wiggle out of, the aggravated charge is offensive. It's blatantly offensive. That was the appropriate thing to do, and I'm glad that they did it.
No, I think it's absolutely appropriate. It's necessary. I've been bringing my kids to Turning Point events and Charlie Kirk events since they were born, and everybody knows that those pictures of me and Tanya showing up at Turning Point and pushing the stroller around, just walking the floor.
Yep.
And now even my older son Jack is joins me on stage every once in a while, and he's kind of got the bug himself. I actually like this graphic that I'm seeing. Seven different counts, and it is correct me if I'm actually seeing now that and Blake, if you can pull this up, the specific counts. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child. So sorry, that is a specific count. That is not just a factor, an aggravating factor. That's so I just want to correct ourselves. We're obviously, going through this as much in real time as we can, that it isn't just a factor, but it is in fact a separate charge.
Yeah.
Credible.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the protection of children, right? The protection of childhood, the protection of innocence. And okay, we're seeing it now. Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of witness tampering. This, I believe, was involved with the deleting of the texts.
That's right.
And then also asking or discussing removing the murder weapon from the scene, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child. And I think it's very clear here that the roommate will be testifying. I think that's just very obvious that the roommate is going to testify, and certainly going to has provided these text messages over to fully comply with the investigation, to escape any potential legal challenges themselves. We don't know. I would say we don't have any evidence of culpability on the side of the roommate. That could change as
It's
the investigation
possible we'll
goes.
end up seeing messages that like implied this.
And
But
this is
it
where the
could be
Discord.
tough. It
This is
could
where
be
the
tough.
Discord.
They'll always
chats
be able
come
to say,
in.
"I thought they were kidding," and they'll have a good case. I mean, people
Yeah.
say a lot of things in private messages.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's obviously a good thing they're coming forward and cooperating. We'll just have to see. I've been impressed with the Utah investigators so far. They seem pretty thorough about what they're doing, and I imagine they'll remain thorough about what they're doing.
And that's what it is. And so the suspect, we're saying, will appear in court very soon. So their arraignment, as seeing the other side, that President Trump is actually set to arrive in the UK right now as well. He's about to step down from Air Force One, where they've landed. So it's possible we could get statements from the president. And if we do get statements from the president, I'd love to pull that up as quickly as we could, because I'm certain I don't think there's much question of whether or not President Trump supports the death penalty in this case. I think it's pretty clear, though I do think there's a question of the federal level and whether or not we'll see more of that. Obviously, that would be from either the U.S. Attorney or the U.S. Attorney General. Tyler, one thing that I did want to get you in on, because I know this is something you are very well aware of, is the fact that nonprofit groups, we were talking about the defense,
Just was talking about this with Glenn.
I want to dig in on this because we know that there are federal and, nationwide anti-death penalty groups. There is the ACLU. There are others out there who come in and defend cases like this in the past. And there are groups like the Innocence Project who have lied about obviously guilty people and pushed and perverted the justice system so far that they have been let out. And we've talked about that on Thought Crime at length. I'd be more than happy to do it right now off the top of my head yet again, because it's just happening so often from them. But talk to me. Are we seeing that? Do you think we'll see that? What are the impacts there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate on all my deepest fears with how this is going to be politicized, and again,
It will.
for all of us here.
It just will.
For us that were like so close to Charlie, it's gonna be really hard, I think, not to overreact to every single one of those those politicizations of the case. And it's actually kind of painful to me, because I'm just realizing and thinking about now, it hasn't even been a thought in my brain this week, that this is going to be an ongoing long-term
it could be truly bad if you want to turn back the clock. I'm sure you know about these, Jack. They had a lot of political assassinations in Europe. In 1800s, early 1900s, in Russia.
Turn of the century, it was ubiquitous.
You'd have cases where someone would commit an assassination, and they would use the trial as an opportunity to just
Spread their
espouse
so
their
it's
beliefs.
possible we'll have a case where
Thank you so much.
this guy just decides to get on the stand. He says, they've already said they're going to seek the death penalty, so get on the stand and say, yeah, guess what? I think Charlie Kirk was evil for reason 1, 2, 3. Bam, put it all on national television and do it.
And then it allows them to kind of become a martyr for their side.
and a copycat.
And inspire copycats.
It's inspiration, right? So
It's hard to, by the way, it's hard to
that's
say
really
that
bad
this
for
isn't
America.
a copycat of some of the other, trans-related shooters or Luigi Maggioni,
Right.
Butler. There was a reference, I think, to Maggioni in one of the, not these texts, but in a one of the other discords that came out. There was a reference to "Don't go to McDonald's,"
Right.
and of course, famously. that is where Mangione was arrested in a McDonald's in Pennsylvania while fleeing from New York City. So the idea that Mangione and the Mangione case is so they're so familiar with it because they're in this fandom of Mangione that he didn't even have to explain what he meant, because they obviously would just right away know that's what the reference was. It was a shared rep. But like if I said that to you, you'd be like, "What do you mean you don't go to McDonald's? Why are you saying you don't go to McDonald's?"
Yeah, but that's how involved these sickos are with this. This is how premeditated this whole thing is, even with amongst the group of people, is like they clearly think about this and talk about this on a regular basis. That's how dangerous these Discord channels are, is for people that are listening that have children, that are teenagers, young men that are in their homes, that are teenagers, that are in their early 20s. Especially if you have signs of these mental illness, of things not going right in their life. There are kids, there are groups of kids. And again, I keep saying this over and over. If this is happening in Utah, this is happening in other places.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the extent of this is. And again, there's a lot of speculation about NGOs and nonprofit groups that are funding things, that international actors and things like that. We're gonna find out a lot, and I have full faith and confidence that we are going to find out about those things. But the reality is this stems and starts from somewhere, and it starts with people having mental illness, they're having problems, and parents are not as active as they should be in the home to be aware of what's going on in their child's lives. You can't do that forever, right? Like you can't do that for forever and ever, but even young men who are graduating high school and they're trying to figure themselves out and do all those things, when you see something, people have got to say something. And there's a feeling that I have here, which is that, the dad who turned his son in clearly knew that his son had problems, clearly knew that he probably should be keeping a closer eye on what his son was doing. Again, I don't fault people for not being able to do that 24/7, but that's just the feeling I'm getting. That's just like, there's got to be, a reckoning when it comes to parenting. It's got to be a reckoning when it comes to involvement and strengthening the core of the home, which is, again, why I'm sure Charlie was targeted, was because that was the centrifuge for his message. That was the middle heartbeat of everything that he talked about, was God, family, and then saving the country. And so that's just where we have to go at this point. I am deeply concerned as I kind of reel out of this thing. And again, I don't want to be freaking out about this constantly, but I hope that swift justice is brought, that the people of this great country, and particularly of Utah, will stand up and be very loud about making sure that happens, and drowning out any kind of step that this guy takes to try to platform crazy ideas. Because nothing could be worse for America than giving a platform to a person in a judicial setting that allows them just to go on and on and drone on and actually create a much more intensified Luigi situation.
Right. And you'd hope that in that case, obviously we're talking about something that could be years away, honestly.
I hope not.
I hope not too, but just reality, like realistically speaking, that's entirely a possibility here. That's just like, what I mean, that these cases can drag out. There are going to be numerous pretrial petitions. It's sort of the
you said it. There's going to be lots of organizations stepping in trying to slow everything down.
To slow things down. They are going to try to do everything. They're going to do everything they can to make you forget what you saw with your own two eyes on that day, broad daylight at Utah Valley University, on video. Blake didn't see it on video. Blake was
right there,
watching it with his own eyes. But they will do everything they can. They will. That's why you're already seeing it. We talked about the Groyper op, and they said, it's a groiper. Tyler, you're the first one who mentioned that to me. That said, why are they saying it's a groiper? And they keep repeating these words over and over: white Christian, MAGA family, white Christian, MAGA family,
and just outright and lie about what we saw, and lie about what we saw for the fall and heard for the following days, really up through now.
The cheers,
the cheers,
the laughs.
I have seen a person who is denying that the left is celebrating this, who sent me a direct message gloating about what happened. That is what is going on right now. I have seen people with my own eyes. I have heard it with my own ears, people celebrating this. We had to endure. Remember, TMZ came out the other day, and they had people caught on their stream cheering when he died. And they came out and they said they were watching something else. It's a pure coincidence.
I didn't get to watch that video. That was in the office, or was it like
they were in there? So they were live streaming the news event, and then when they were announcing it, the people on screen were being neutral sounding, but you could hear cheers, whoops going on in the background.
Yeah.
As they were breaking the news that he had died.
It's a big hall. So if you go into TMZ, it's like one big office. It's a big open air office, and their desks are in rows, and they film right in front of it.
And their excuse was, well, we had this other team. They were watching a car chase, different news story, unfortunate coincidence. And someone went on TikTok, and they reverse engineered the exact time this happened at, and they found the car chase they would have been watching from a helicopter. And at the exact moment that this would have been happening, they actually cut in to that car chase, and they were announcing that Charlie had died.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they were reacting to. So that was the excuse TMZ gave. So what's their excuse now? Because they said it was unacceptable. So is TMZ going to fire those people? I think we should have people follow up on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they said it was unacceptable. So were they lying to us?
Charlie and I had been to TMZ together. We won't rehash why we were there, but Charlie and I have been at that office.
Wait a minute, I remember.
Harvey was it was the one of the, not to change the direction of this conversation, but it was a very memorable day. I remember Charlie and I standing over in one of the offices. Harvey was very nice. Came and talked. He was very familiar with Charlie's work, and this was early on too. This was like many years ago, so was familiar with Charlie and everything else. But this is, to your point, Blake, like, TMZ needs to have some. There has to be some accountability for this. This is the type of stuff that if it seeps into America and people see it and they think it's okay, especially amongst these kind of pinnacle media organizations, and I know that TMZ is not looked at as like one of the most lauded media organizations on the planet Earth, but they have influence and a lot of people watch them, and they think that it's okay just to do that stuff. That is what starts to pull apart the fabric of America. That is what gives you the Luigis of this world, and it is sickening. And I think I saw a lot of people send me that message, Blake, and I'm sure you did, and it makes you angry. But to me, like just when I look back on it, it just makes me just pure sad, because the saddening part of where we are at, the commentary of where we are at, that people that have stood in those places, some of those people met Charlie, saw Charlie in their office. It's not like this is a detached thing or a.
Did you wait, Blake? I'm just looking at this thing you sent me from ABC.
We should play it. It's not that long.
Can we get this?
Let's get this cut ASAP and run it. We'll get it here in just a sec.
Do we want to do some of the Mikey?
We should play Mikey too. I think
Mikey did a great job.
Yeah. Let's get those clips. So which do we want to do first, do you think?
Well, if we have, I think we have.
Let's do. We have Mikey ready to go.
Yeah, we have Mike.
But we'll pivot
Mike's
back to
from
this.
Fox. Let's play
85.
85.
Let's do 85, please.
Driving him to the airport, he was speaking at your dad's church, and you said, I'm thinking about going to college. And he said, don't go to college. Why was that?
Charlie had a knack of telling you what to do, not asking you. And so the first time I met Charlie, I drove him and his then girlfriend, Erica, to the airport. And he grilled me on Aristotle, American history, Plato. And when I dropped him off at his terminal, he gets out of the car. He goes, I don't want you to go to college. I want you to come work for me at Turning Point USA. Yeah. So I took a day to think about it, and I did it. And the story's the same with his wife, Erica. When he met her for the first time, he was interviewing her, and he told her, he said, I don't want to hire you. I want to date you. And so It's the best 6 years of my life that I spent under the tutelage of Charlie and learning from him.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, that's Mikey. He was Charlie's chief of staff. I suspect he spent more time with Charlie than anyone who wasn't Erica or his children over the past years.
And he was also there that day.
He was there. I was standing right next to him when it happened, and
Yeah, Mike.
I don't want to say more about that moment.
No, I'm just establishing.
We brought Mikey in, and he was so young as a Charlie's assistant and handler, and has been around, like, again, one-on-one with Charlie.
We have two more clips.
Most of the videos you see of Charlie, Mikey is taken over the last 5 years.
Next to it, or we have two more clips. They're short. I say just play them both, 87, 88. Just play them back to back, guys.
He's had a knack for choosing people, as Erica Kirk said in her message the other night to the nation, and he did. And the organization has leaders that Charlie handpicked to lead us and guide us, and he always had plans in case something happened. And this will continue to play out, and the public will see it soon. But we are committed to 10xing, to growing the organization, to growing his legacy that he built. And as Erica said, to make sure that nobody forgets the name Charlie Kirk. It's expected to be a packed house. We're holding it at State Farm Stadium here in Arizona. And everybody's flying out for this. 7 days to plan an event like this seemed impossible, but everybody's working to make sure that we honor Charlie. And you're going to see that from stage. Speakers from the administration coming out, friends, family, loved ones coming out to speak and talk about him and the legacy that he lived. And that's going to continue.
That was just incredible. Tyler, do you want to give us all any updates on Sunday, on how that's coming together? I know the team. By the way, Tyler's literally, like, when you see him on his phone, that's because he's literally planning the Sunday memorial.
Our team is
and in the team and all the rest. But I mean, it's an ongoing.
The entire team has been so fantastic.
Process.
I mean, every single person that's on the team, top to bottom. Like, again, just I want to put this into perspective for everyone. We are planning an event that millions of people are going to see this Sunday. The Turning Point team, so the Turning Point USA, Turning Point Action team. Lots of work is going to be done on Sunday that's positive and good, but everyone's reeling. Everybody has the worst feelings that you could possibly have on planet Earth right now. I mean, this is our close friend. This is our brother. This is our boss. For many mentors and close relationships that spent so much time together. For us, we had such a close relationship here around this table, and we're all participating with what will probably come out to be one of the largest Trump, in-person events.
Yeah, and on top of that, the President of the United States and
the President of the United States, the Vice President, the entire cabinet. I mean, the amount of honors that Charlie so deserves an incredible, send-off, if you want to call it, from this earth life to where we know he's in a better place now.
Yeah.
But like Mikey said, all of this work that we've been doing for the past decade plus, like going on now 14 years, going 13, coming out of 14 years, is not going to slow down. It is going to get bigger. It's going to get better. We have great, incredible people, top to bottom, within the organizations. And there's many organizations, Turning Point USA, Turning Point Action. We have our PAC. We have multiple other organizations that operate out of here that are all committed to doing the work. But that's what helps facilitate and it's going to make Sunday an incredibly moving thing. And I hope that America is going to be able to peer into the window of I guess, what everybody here has been able to participate with between, Charlie's show, the Turning Point universe. And I hope they feel uplifted and motivated so that they can go live a life like Charlie.
And it's so important, by the way, that for the anger that's out there, and I felt that. I mean, I have my own personal anger, but I felt the public weight of it last night at ASU, the fury. And I have it myself. it doesn't mean anything if you don't turn it into action. If you don't get involved, if you don't step up and say, all right, now it's time to come off the sidelines. Now it's time to get involved in my local chapter, get involved with the elections, get involved with whatever it is. If you were waiting for a wake-up call, you just got it. All right? That was it. It's done. Charlie gave his life for that. And that's what he would have wanted for you to do. It's what he would have wanted. And it's what you need. And so we're going to have that. We're certainly going to have that included at this event and use this as a way to offer people to find their way in, people to find their way to get active, start chapters, to join chapters. And I mean, Tyler, I know you've shared some information with me, but I mean, this is gonna be the largest event Turning Point has ever done.
Yeah, I want to be careful because it's everything is so fragile and everyone's moving as fast as they humanly can right now. But again, just shout out the entire team. Justin and Mikey
Incredible.
are taking on a whole lot on the Turning Point USA and Charlie's personal side. Like they're carrying the weight of the world, and we're all just here, trying to support them. Every single person on our team, Marina has done such a tremendous job at managing all the incoming. Andrew's basically taken on, that's why he's not here with us right now. He's taken on basically like 4 full-time jobs right now, including stepping into the pocket with so much that was there for Charlie. We're just wanting to accomplish, I think, the best possible memorial for our friend. And again, doing the way that I felt like little things. I'm sure we're going to feel this a lot, and probably even the 3 of us and beyond that are going to feel this a lot, where we can kind of feel Charlie's presence in so many things that are going to be done. But I think everybody's just working as hard as they possibly can so that we just, are doing it what Charlie would want to on Sunday. And the thing that we keep joking about is like everything that we ever did. And I had Lauren save all our texts because we started the events at Turning Point many years ago, and we brought Lauren in, who's been our VP of events forever. And I was just scrolling back and looking at the messages that Charlie would send, back in 2018, 2019, 2021, 2023, as we were just like growing, and we could see the intensity. But it was always more. We got to do more. We got to get bigger. We got to get more chairs. We got to get bigger rooms and bigger halls and more LED and more, indoor fireworks and sparks.
Cold sparks, yeah.
Cold sparks. And, it was more signage and
The RFK cold sparks.
bigger speakers and everything that we possibly could do to make this big. And so the culminating factor and the sad part is Lauren sent me over a message. I don't want to cry right now. Lauren sent me over a message yesterday that was 2021. It was dated in 2021, and this was right after COVID. So you have to remember, we just went through hell and back. We didn't fire a single employee. We kept the doors up. We didn't take a single dime of government money, and we still held events. But Charlie sent over a message, and we could throw it up if we wanted to, with a stadium, aerial shot of a stadium. And he said, "This is the vision. This is what I want. This is what I want to see. This is where we're going. Is a packed stadium." And we always joked, we're like, Charlie's like, this is crazy. Like, he's always asking, demanding more. And like in 2021, right after COVID, no one ever could have imagined, like, how are we going to get back there? How are we going to do it? And this is it. This is it on Sunday is honoring Charlie stadium. And we're going to probably have tens of thousands of people outside that can't get in. And they're going to be outside singing right along, participating, and doing everything else. And so I hope that this turns out to be the biggest possible memorial that motivates millions of Americans that we've ever seen in the history of the country.
We're in the turning point. We're in it. It's the fourth turning, and the turning point of the fourth turning, and we're just in it. We're just in it. We're in a time of, obviously, a time of instability. There's no question. Just look no further than this room. but at the same time, it's the fact that you have, and Charlie built this organization, and maybe he didn't even know when he named it that and started building it, when you guys first put up your folding table on campus, that in a strange way, you and Charlie and then everyone else who's come along and joined in the fight built the organization. And I'm not selling right now. I swear I'm not pitching. This really is the infrastructure and the network that America needs in this actual moment. Yeah. And that's what's so remarkable to me. It's like in any other situation, you know, here we were talking about like, well, what organization would come in? You know, who's going to come in?
Who can help do the work now? Yeah, now that person's gone. Yeah,
that's what Charlie spent his life building.
That's why I tell people. I mean,
whether he knew it or not.
And again,
maybe he did.
And Rush saw this in Charlie, right? It's kind of, Charlie was an activist first. He's an activist leader. He wasn't, you know, a lot of people know Charlie as a voice, as a, you know, on radio and TV and media personality and all those things. Those are things he did to support the activist work.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a really critical thing is to understand, is that Charlie's legacy was that he built all these things first before he did those things. He did those things to support the actual work. And, you know, there are great people that have lived, that have come and gone, that have had a big voice and have, you know, made a lot of money, and they've been really influential and all those things. But very rarely do they do something that's beyond them, where they've like actually invested into hundreds, thousands, you know, tens of thousands, millions of people around them. Charlie did that. So the big question is like, you know, when people felt lost, where it's like, what am I going to listen to because Russia's gone now? Now, with Charlie being gone, it's like there is a pathway. Get involved on the Turning Point side, on the Turning Point USA side. If you're, you know, 18 to 24 or even younger than that, I guess 16 to 24 in high school, you have to be involved with the high school program, with the collegiate programs that we have. But we have so much more than that. We have TPUSA Faith. Let's go back to church, be involved, be part of that. Turning Point Action, that's what we do. And particularly the key target states. We need everybody. If you're not in a key target state, we need your help in those key target states to get involved. There is plenty to do, and all the organizational structures are there. So we need you to go. We need you to be part of it.
So I actually just got sent, we have the site, just to back up what you're saying, it's fightforcharlie.com.
For this Sunday. Yep.
For this Sunday. But then there's also, even if you can't, so if you want to register, if you're media, I've been getting hit up by a lot of media. It's right there. There's a link. Just go in. And also, if you want to support the mission, support the event, you can do that there as well. It's all set up for you. You can do whatever you want. But it's fightforcharlie.com. That's the site. So all this stuff we're talking about, you go to fightforcharlie.com, and that is where it's all been set up. And again, being able to put a website up like that, get it all together, that's the team. That's just the team coming together. And imagine what it's like having to come to work. Just show up at work after seeing something like that happen to your boss, to your coworker, to a guy who worked at the same place where you work, and knowing that there could be others, knowing there could be threats, knowing there could be more, and still showing up anyway. And that's what every single person here on Charlie Kirk side, Turning Point side, the action side, everyone's done that. And it's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable to all of them. I want to, I'm trying to think which play. I want to play this this clip 241. This is just, there's so many memorials coming in, but you know, it's, Blake, you'll appreciate this. Hold on one sec, guys. Because Charlie's last couple of speeches were in Asia, and I don't know if this is made in Asia or just has that, you know, that anime style, but I really like it. So let's play it. Clip 241.
Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer. Counting, we're not counting gang violence. Great.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I like how it just sort of fits it all together, and that was a good one. But unfortunately, there are other things happening that are not so good. Let's play clip 89.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate who is transitioning calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner.
Touching. Blake, did
very touching.
Did you like what ABC's Matt Gutman? I want to make sure I get that right. Matt Gutman of ABC, his name again, Matt Gutman of ABC, had to say that it was touching. He also, there's a follow-up, and I want to hat tip to Curtis Hack over at Newsbusters. I just saw him the other day. He's at the Museum of the Bible event, the prayer event with President Trump. He goes, there's a duality of a very portrait of a very human person, a very human experience from the family, the kid who, he's talking about the 4.0, and don't think I've experienced a press conference, even the text messages that are so fulsome, so robust, so apparently allegedly self-incriminating, but on the other hand, touching. And oh my God, wait, I have to get into this. With the suspect reaching out to the roommate who is allegedly his boyfriend, who we understand, he identified as male as birth, but now identifies as female, and the terminology he used, he was trying to protect him. He kept calling him my love. My reason for doing this is to protect you, but also asking him to delete the messages and not speak to law enforcement. So there's this heartbreaking duality that we're seeing very tragically playing out here from Mark Gutman of ABC. No, Mark Gutman, this wasn't Romeo and Juliet, okay? This is a murderer. But you listen to this. You listen to this. Oh, it's so touching. It's so touching. It's so heartfelt. These people are sick. These people are scum. This is absolute scum. You want to talk about touching? You want to talk about heartfelt? Have you played a clip of Erica? You play one of those videos, Mark Gutman? You played one of those of Charlie's kids who are growing up with no father now because of this heartfelt lover? This guy's like, why do these people always take the side of the perpetrator, of the criminal?
Because they agree with the perpetrator?
Yes.
Seems a reasonable takeaway.
I'm getting told we're coming up on the end. More to come on that one. Tyler, any final thoughts for now?
No, I just rest in peace, Charlie. We love you, man. This has been a hard day, I think, for all of his close family members, his parents, his sister, his wife, his dear wife. So we're with them. We're praying for them.
Yeah. Blake?
I'm just mad, man. I'm mad. And that's good, I suppose, because when I'm very mad about this, I don't have to think as much about just...
It's okay to be mad.
Like, I'm not going to see him again. I'm not going to see him again because this psychopath that has such a touching relationship with his whatever friend decided to just blow his life away. Because of what?
Because he didn't like what he had to say and who he was and what he stood for. And then we get to turn on ABC and we get told how touching and heartfelt the murderer is because of a couple of text messages. Full and total justice and accountability so that scum like this, it just needs to stop. I'm not even gonna, it just needs to stop. It needs to stop. Thank you guys. Fightforcharlie.com.